What's up, everybody? Welcome in. It is Tuesday evening, day 4 of the Brown University mass shooting. Still no suspect. Only a person of interest at this point, and it's not looking good. It's not looking good. I don't know. The new video, the new photos that have been released, do you feel confident that they're going to find this said person of interest, this said suspect? You watch these press conferences, you see the news media that's going on, what's being reported in Providence, in around Brown University. I don't feel confident in this investigation, and now more things are coming out. We found out the alert system today that was supposed to alert students didn't fire off until 17 minutes after this active shooting started. You have the police chief, Oscar Perez, up there, Colonel Oscar Perez, saying videos from inside the building. No, we don't have any usable video. That's actually video that's on the outside. They don't know what's going on. You have Christina Paxson, the president of Brown University. She doesn't even know what's going on their own website. Profiles being removed. She doesn't know. She doesn't know anything. And then you look at, now we find out that this suspect came in to Brown University, did this mass shooting, and just wandered off in the street. There was no cameras. And you're going to hear the excuse from Mayor Brett Smiley during this press conference they had just about an hour ago. So we're going to replay that. We're going to go through that. So let me just read this first. This is from CNN. Video evidence of the suspect is limited by universities. I love this. Unique location, Mayor says. Now all the excuses are coming up. How about this? How about making sure that your security in and around this facility is supposed to do its job, be secure, protect people, make sure all your blind spots and your cameras are pointing in the right direction. How about updating the security system? I'm sure Brown takes in a lot of money through donations. I'm sure it takes in a lot of tuition money from people that attend that school. Sounds like a losing situation here. I'm curious to hear this press conference today. Are they going to come out and say that the area is still safe? Well, if you're saying that and you're now on day 4, what does that lead the public to believe? That the suspect is what? Out of the area? Do you know something that we don't know? So let's see. Let's read this from CNN. The search for the person of interest has left some wondering, how does someone commit a mass shooting and apparently walk out and just disappear? Mayor Brett Smiley said part of the explanation to do with the security camera coverage and the location of the building where the students were shot. Just like I said, why are we not looking for blind spots? Why are we not putting cameras in those areas that need to be protected, that we need full visual representation there if a situation like this happens? So here's a quote from Mayor Smiley. Brown is different than maybe some universities, and it's very much integrated with a residential neighborhood. Smiley said, this building is on the literal edge of the campus, and the person of interest walked out the door as soon as he stepped out on the sidewalk, was no longer on campus. So that's now the excuse. The school's network of cameras could not follow the suspect into the surrounding neighborhood, Smiley says. It's part of the reason we just keep asking the community to help so much, is because even though this occurred on campus, the route of travel and all the video evidence you've seen, other than the very first video that has been seen, is from off campus. The path that we're following for this person of interest is actually off campus. Well, where were the cameras inside the campus? Why were there no camera footage? Why was there no cameras inside this area that should have been protected where students are? And we talked about this on my live stream last night with Todd McGee. You can go back and look at that. Former retired Mass State Police and security consultant, security expert. And he was in question in the area. Why was his door unlocked downstairs? And there's been reports and some sources that said that the actual door to get in doesn't require a badge, but you require a badge in and out the rest of those floors through the building. That's a problem. That's a security problem. So let's take a look here at the most updated presser that happened at 5:04 this afternoon. I'll share my screen. We'll go through this. We'll listen to what's going to be spun today. What's the excuses? Does anybody have any information? I don't know. We'll have to find out here, but we're going to watch through this. How are you feeling? Do you live in this community? How are you feeling? Do you live in and around Brown University? Let us know in the chat. How are you feeling about the investigation so far? How are you feeling about the transparency? How are you feeling about the failures of Brown University at this point, protecting students? You know, a lot of this stuff just gets brushed away. But then when something like this happens, the shit really hits the fan because you really weren't doing your overall job to protect. All right, let's take a look at this press. Let's listen to this press conference. We'll watch this press conference. I wonder if AG Peter Nerone is going to flip out. We'll see that. Good
evening, everybody. It's Providence Mayor Brett Smiley with another update today. In just a moment, Colonel Perez will give an update on the investigation, including video that was released. That video was released just a little while ago. If you were here and do not have that video, you can see Camille or Julie, and they can send that to you while we're recording.
Richard, I have no idea what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm going to lose. I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay, let's get back.
Additionally, Camille and Julie are your contacts to be on the press distribution list to be advised of future announcements. At this time, I'll introduce Providence Police Chief Colonel Oscar Perez.
Thank you, Mayor. So as the Mayor stated, we're about to show you a video if we can have the ID officer play.
Let's just pause this real quick. $5 from Vermont Press Release says, LTL, please look at the video where the suspect is caught on video of the police department dash camera, but nothing has been said about that. If you have a link to it, email it. I'll pull it up. You can just email me at letstalklivepodcast@gmail.com. I'll gladly pull that up. Oop, that's not my, hang on. I'll drop a link here with my email. My email should come up on screen, but please send it to me. I haven't seen that yet. I haven't seen it circulating on X, but if you have something like that, gladly, an article, whatever it may be, drop it to me. I appreciate the $5. All right, here we go. Let's get into this presser. So this is at 2:09 p.m. on that.
Thank you, Joe. So as the Mayor stated, if you don't have these videos, please let us know. And the reason we have shown these videos, there's a purpose, right? So as you can see, they're enhanced photos, there's enhanced video footage, And so we're asking the public to ensure that they can see here that you want to focus on the body movements, the way the person moves their arms, the body posture, the way they carry their weight. I think those are important movement patterns that may help you identify this individual, which is extremely important. Another thing that we're going to ask the public is if you have any type of camera system, including Teslas, in your property. And this video that you just saw behind me, it all comes from the residential block of Waterman Avenue, Power, Ives, and Hope
Thank you,
Street.
David. Appreciate
In
you.
those residential areas that we're asking the public to look, if you have any camera systems or any Teslas, like I mentioned, that you look at that footage and that you can reach out to us and please provide us anything that you have. And we're asking you to go back at least a week to do that. And the reason for that is because on Saturday night, the day of, we actually learned that this individual was in that neighborhood at around 10:30 in the morning. We also know in this profession that many criminals will case out an area weeks and days prior. And so it's important for us to ensure that we can have you look at that and help us. And the reason for that is because our offices, our agents are looking at terabytes of data. And we're looking for a moment that is shorter than somebody taking a breath. It's incredible hard work to do that. And so we're asking the public to assist us with that. The other thing is the tip center. We have been receiving hundreds of tips. However, we're about close to 200 actionable tips that we're still conducting investigations on, which is incredible and is important. Again, keep in mind that this video footage is extremely important to us. And one more thing here that as a reminder, please remember that the number that we need you to call is 401-272-3121, as well as the link that the FBI provided, which is fbi.gov, Brown University shootings. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Colonel. Now we'll hear from FBI Special Agent in Charge, Ted Dux.
No, thank you, Mayor, and good evening. My name is Ted Dux. I'm the Special Agent in Charge of FBI Boston. On the heels of this tragedy, the strength and resilience of the people of Providence is a powerful reminder of the bonds that unite us. The men and women of the FBI, along with the law enforcement team standing before you, carry the victims with us as we work around the clock to bring the individual responsible for their injuries and deaths to justice. Today, the FBI is working with Brown University to do everything we can to provide services to those impacted by this horrific shooting. The FBI has almost 30 victim specialists, special agents, and analysts from all over the country who are here in Providence to support our survivors, the victims, and their loved ones. The FBI Victim Services Response Team is one of the many specialized FBI assets that have been deployed here to assist. The toll this type of tragedy takes on victims and their families is immeasurable, and we ask everyone to respect their privacy at this difficult time. Thank you.
Thank you, Special Agent. Next, Attorney General Peter Neronha.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have a lot to add other than that from my perspective. I think the investigation in a case like this, which is a challenging one, is going really well. On the third floor of this building, there are dozens of agents, detectives led by
Hang on one second. Of course. Hang on one second. Oh, StreamYard. You're so fun. Okay. He just said that he felt that it was going well. Okay. All right. All right. All right, Peter.
Providence Police, prosecutors from my office, working to put together, and what you're seeing is just a portion of what they're working on right now. So they are literally, because I have seen at least part of it, the shift changes late at night. I think Rhode Islanders should take confidence in their work. They are veterans of what they do. They're smart, they're professional, and they're getting the resources from the mayor and the governor that they need, the state police as well, to get this job done. And I'm confident they're going to be able to do that. Just need a little bit of patience, as hard as it is to say that in this really horrible context. Thank you.
Patience. We need patience, people. It's just all
Thank you,
about
General.
patience.
Governor Dan McKee for an update now.
Remember, it's all about
Thanks, Mayor.
patience.
And right off the top, we're just making sure that the state is supporting Providence and Brown University, and then working with the FBI as well as our state police and the Attorney General to continue to provide information to the people in the state of Rhode Island. My information is that recently, today, we've met with all the university presidents in the state of Rhode Island. We know that we want to start a working group that will talk about enhancing the safety issues.
Excuse me.
And you'll see shortly that we'll be doing the same thing in terms of the mental health issues. And I think that's important. As I'm out and about, we're hearing a great deal of anxiety coming from families,
Oh, yeah.
students, and the general.
The anxiety is this. After this mass shooting occurred, you came out hours later and said that the area is safe. Go about your business on the next day. And then you're telling everybody that you have a person of interest. So people are feeling secure at that point. We've got someone in custody. They're a person of interest. The very next day, you're at the Hampton Inn in Coventry, Rhode Island. You're taking weapons out of that room. So we're all sitting here going, all right, they got the guy. This is going to be the guy or someone that's connected to this. And then you're telling the community it's safe. Go about your business. Go to church on Sunday. Okay? You have this person of interest in custody all through Sunday. The community is safe. Then Sunday night, late, you have to come out at 11:20 p.m. and say, well, the guy that we had and the weapons we took out of that room, yeah, that's not the guy, but the community is still safe. Well, why do you keep saying that? What information are you telling the area? What information are you telling the community? You're telling us that the area is safe. Well, in my mind, if this is not the person of interest, if this is not the suspect, and you have to let him go, that to me tells me there's still a threat in the community. I don't know. That's just what my intuition is saying, my gut. So if you keep saying the community is safe, is there something that you know that we don't know? Do you know that this guy slipped out of the area? Or maybe at this point, you have no fucking idea where he is, where he left out of that community. You lost track of him through video. So I'm confused. And I'm sure a lot of people in the community are confused. And that's why there's a lot of anxiety in and around the area. All right, let's play
Public.
through it.
And that's one of the reasons why our state police has supported the Providence schools with presence as school begins and school ends, in support of the mayor and his efforts to support the schools.
Thank you, Governor. We're also joined
Probably
tonight
in
by Brown University
California by
President
now.
Christina Paxson.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to begin by thanking.
And she has no idea what's going on in her school either. Because she was challenged on the first day. Do you know what's actually going on? Why it is now 6 hours later and you have no idea what's going inside your university? She said, I have no answer for that. Oh, good one. Great.
Many law enforcement agencies who continue to work around the clock on this case. It's very impressive. I also want to thank the mayor and the governor for their continued support. The primary point that I wanted to address before we get to questions is that Brown is deeply committed to the safety and security and well-being of our community. And I've been deeply
Don't
saddened
sound
by
like it.
people questioning that.
Yeah.
We understand that as time goes on, there is maybe a natural instinct to assign responsibility for a tragic event like this. Anxiety and fear is very natural, but the shooter is responsible. Horrific gun violence took the lives of these students and hospitalized others. And it's deeply sad and tragic that schools across the country are targets of violence. Brown is no exception. We are cooperating fully with law enforcement. And again, we thank the multiple agencies that have been working so hard day and night with increased.
Yeah, I saw some of that swarming on X today when I was at work. I was reading about that. And that's an interesting point that you bring up. And it's very interesting that that profile and Paxton's going to get challenged here in a minute. It's very interesting how that profile has disappeared. And Paxton can say, I have no idea about that. It is a very interesting thing. And I tweeted some of that out today, that this profile was taken down off of the Brown University website. And this, a lot of people are saying that I think that he was seen in a video demonstration in and around the school and had a very similar gait in his walk to the suspect, which is very interesting. Yeah, I saw that. And Vermont Press was saying that he thinks it's him. And maybe it is. Maybe it is him, and they just don't know where he is right now. But it's very interesting. I did see that swirling around. All right, let's play more of the presser here and hear from Christina Paxson, the Brown University president.
Patrols to keep our campus safe and to investigate this horrific shooting. Thank you.
Thank you, President Paxson. I'll give a couple updates on behalf of the city and then
Could
we'll
be.
take your questions. First, as has been discussed many times, we continue to have enhanced police presence throughout the city of Providence to help bolster the confidence and provide a sense of additional security to our residents. Today, we were aided by neighboring municipalities in Central Falls and North Providence with supplemental officers. We're grateful to our neighbors for sticking up and standing up with Providence. The state police continues to be an incredible partner, and I thank the governor and Colonel Weaver for their partnership. Providence Public Schools remain in session. Friday is the last day of school.
Why not, right?
Spent some time at our schools again today. As has been the case in the past, the schools in the area.
This message to me is clearly telling me that they feel that this person is no longer around the community. Just let us know that. Stop dancing around it. If you're telling people to go about their daily business, if you're telling people to continue to go to school, you are telling the public in a roundabout way that this suspect is not, or this person of interest is not in the area anymore. Just let people know. Just let people know. Why keep dancing around this?
Brown are having regular police presence, and because of the assistance of the Rhode Island State Police, we've been able to provide additional police presence and coverage to other schools in Providence. We thank them for that. When I was at one of our elementary schools this morning, the faculty were having a brief meeting before kids started to arrive. And in discussion with some of the teachers, I asked how they were doing. And one of the teachers said what I think a lot of us
I talked
are
about
feeling.
that.
She said, it's hard, but I'm putting on a good face for the kids. We need to be here for them. And I think that's how a lot of our residents feel right now, which is that we are taking very tentative steps forward, but we're doing it for one another. And so I do want to thank our educators at this time. They're being asked to go to school right now. Our principals are asked to be going to school right now for the sake of the families and the kids. And at that same school, there was a second grader literally skipping to the front door because he's a second grader and he doesn't know everything that's going on in this scary world right now. And so the strength of the adults has allowed that little kid to skip to school this morning. And so I want to thank all of my fellow residents of Providence for putting on a strong face for the sake of others at this time. There were questions yesterday, and so I'll also just give a brief update on the health status of the survivors. If folks will recall, there had been 8 hospitalized. One has since been discharged. There had been 8 hospitalized. One has since been discharged. The 7 that remain in the hospital, one is in critical status, 5 in critical but stable status, although healthcare providers report that they are improving, and 1 in stable status. Those are the 7. 1 in critical, 5 in critical but stable, 1 in stable status, and 1 discharged since the last time we made comments about their safety and recovery from the podium. Now we'll open it up to questions.
Por el jefe de la policía, pero si puede responder nuevamente, repetir un poco de estos videos, en qué áreas se están concentrando, dónde quieren que las personas vean esos videos, cuánto tiempo antes incluso quieren que reciban o revisen esos videos.
Yeah, so the question was, if I could just repeat what I stated earlier in English as far as what occurred here, the reasons for the video, and what I was requesting from the public. So, estamos pidiendo al público verdaderamente que el video lo que hicimos fue que lo aumentamos para que vean la manera cómo camina la persona, cómo mueve sus brazos, los movimientos que tiene. Eso es muy importante para que de pronto nos ayuden a que ellos se identifiquen a esta persona. Importantísimo. Lo segundo es que estos videos fueron tomados más que todo en una área residencial que incluye la calle Hope, la calle de la Waterman Avenue, la calle de la Power Street y la calle de la Ive Street. Entonces es importantísimo, estamos pidiendo al público que identifique si tiene sistemas de cámaras, también como vehículos de los Tesla, que tiene ese tipo de data, para que nos los mande a nosotros, importantísimo para nosotros verificarlo y que vayan una semana atrás del incidente. Porque hay una información que tenemos que esta persona...
I'm probably gonna disagree on this one because last night, like I said, I had Todd McGee on the show, retired Mass State Police and security consultant. I felt he's like a local guy. I felt like he was very casual. When you watch the video, it was very casual in that area. To me, it felt like it was someone that's local or knows that area very well. And again, like they said in the beginning of this, about a week ago, they caught him wandering the neighborhood, I think on a Saturday or Sunday at like 10:30 in the morning, scouting the area. So either he had been there or he's been there several times, but I don't know. I felt like he's pretty casual, just like kind of blended in like a regular guy walking around. Besides the mask that kind of throws everything off. But if that guy didn't have a mask on, you would just think that it's just some normal guy walking through the neighborhood like you see, people walking through your neighborhood. So I don't know. I feel like it's kind of a local person. All right, let's go back to this.
10 de la mañana del sábado fue visto.
Chief Ferris, you said that you believe this person was in the neighborhood at 10:30. Clarify, you believe that was at 10:30 the morning of the shooting? And what do you believe he was doing there at that time?
Correct. And we have video footage of that, and we believe that he was actually casing out this area to commit the crime. That's a pattern that criminals do, and that's what he was doing.
So where is that video?
Chief, yesterday, the FBI.
Where is that video? Why haven't they showed that video? If they saw him in and around that area, and excuse me, and I come correct, but did they say they had video of him a week ago? Where's that video? Is that part of the new video that they released? I don't think so because he's wearing the same garb. He has the same jacket and pants on. But where's that video? I want to see that. Show us what he was doing a week ago.
Describe the person that we've been seeing in these images as a suspect. Today, the language seems to be person of interest. Can you clarify, do you believe that this person that we're looking at is your shooter, is your shooting suspect?
Definitely, he's still a person of interest, and we're still investigating that to be able to get that answer. But we strongly believe definitely there's a suspect in the incident and a person of interest.
MIT professor died early this morning from gunshot wounds. Does that incident have any potential connection to this investigation?
Now, no.
In the back, sir.
I asked you, yesterday we were wondering about this person's age. Now that we've seen more video, again, a couple of days ago, I know you're saying 20s, so some talk about 30s, but just to help people at home, people seeing this video, do profilers or anyone in your department have any better understanding, a closer idea on his age? And the second part of that question is, can you now confirm that he has no connection as a past student or as a past staff member at the university?
So the first question, I'll tell you that when it happened on Saturday night, obviously it was chaos, and there was a witness that stated.
I did
not.
not.
At this point, we're still just looking at the picture. We haven't identified ages or anything to that point. And as far as whether he's a problem student or anything, we don't have any of those answers. No.
Colonel, in one of the new videos prior to the shooting, this person of interest is seen running. At this point, do you have any inkling why he's running? Where he's running?
Yeah, we're still investigating that. But we do know definitely that he was casing the area. And again, that's what criminals do prior to committing a crime.
Chris.
Okay, so the video, okay, this is kind of all coming together now. The video that they show of him running was of that Saturday morning at about 10:30 in the morning. They caught him running out of that area, but that was the time that he was casing the area. Okay, I did get the video. I'm going to play that here just after the press conference, and we can talk about it.
It appears that the FBI and PD, according to what I'm looking at online, looks like they're releasing separate videos at separate times. Are you guys still coordinating, or
are we doing?
We are, you gotta understand that there's a lot of people upstairs, as the general stated earlier. And we're trying to ensure that we do this right job and collect the evidence and that we need, and we wanna make sure that everybody has especially you guys in the public. One thing I wanna make sure that the community is safe, well-informed, and stay confident in the work that we're doing. So yes.
Okay, and I found that video as well too. We'll bring it up and talk about it. Let's get through the press conference. We got a little ways to go here, and I keep interrupting, so I apologize. But let's keep going through this.
There was a video that was released, but we also were working on another video, and the purpose of this press conference is to ensure that the public can see those videos showing movements, like I stated earlier, the way a person walks, the way they carry their weight. That's the importance. And so our video, the second video that we showed was the one that we needed to show the public.
Please. In terms of cameras inside and outside the engineering building, are those working at all? And if so, why not release some of those videos?
So the video that we showed you came from inside the building, and that's all we had at the moment. That was all we have at this moment. Correct.
Inside the engineering building though?
So
It's from the outside.
From the
I'm sorry.
outside, so do you have video from
Yes.
inside the engineering building?
both inside and outside. I'm sorry, just outside. That's all we have, not inside. No, I'm sorry, just outside.
Are they gonna be released anytime soon? They want to release on the building?
That was released already. That was the outside of the building. We released
Yeah,
that.
let me just jump here and clarify.
Yeah, let's jump in here and get this all correct. What a fucking disaster this is.
Okay, so there is, for those of you who've been with us before, and I understand not all of you have been, there is video inside the building. There are cameras inside the building. What we have released to you are videos of this person of interest. So I want to be clear, because later on there may be other videos that get released in the course of a prosecution, likely will be at some point. They show things like chaos after the shooting. What they don't show is this person of interest. And so that's why we haven't released those videos, okay? What you do have are videos from a camera outside of the Brown building and other cameras from around the neighborhood that the good men and women in law enforcement located and put together in this montage. And to your question, Chris, there are two versions of that video, but the bottom line is they, as I understand it, they depict the same thing. And number one, and number two, the agencies are working very, very well together, as I think the special agent in charge would agree.
All right, so you've got a follow-up, and then we're going here.
Just to clarify, there's no clear video of the suspect inside the engineering building.
I just said that. That's correct.
No, can I just ask as well, further to the surveillance footage that you have received? I've been here since Saturday speaking to people who are living in the residential buildings around and in the businesses, and many of the store clerks there have told me it wasn't until this morning that the police have actually come to ask them if they had anything that they could offer, any CCTV or any evidence that they could provide. Why does it take you 3 days
Right.
for these people to have the police come to them to ask them for assistance?
As I stated earlier, it's a residential block that includes a lot of homes, a lot of different camera footage, and it takes a lot of work in the sense that there's a lot of terabytes that we're looking at in order to be able to analyze it, pull what we need. And sometimes it's just a moment that we need, and it's shorter than somebody taking a breath. So it takes a lot of work. And then so once that leads us to a next location, and so we move strategically, we have to pull the video, download it, analyze it, investigate it, and then move forward. It takes time.
Yeah, I just want to jump in there too, because I think I want to clarify in a sense what the chief.
It's funny. The police chief getting coached here. Police chief getting coached. No one has any fucking idea what's going on in this investigation. These people don't. They have no idea. And I'll tell you, the FBI tactic, I've seen them kicking snow around. Nice tactics. But these guys have no idea what's going on. Do you see what's going on here? There's coaching. There's misinformation. There's video. Then there isn't video. There's video inside the building. Now there's not. There were cameras there. No, there's no cameras. We have video of the aftermath, but we don't have video of the shooter on camera. Shooter or shooters. Holy smokes.
Is that you start in the grid in the first instance that's closest to Brown. It takes a lot of work to canvass that area, and then you build out as you learn more about the path of travel. So it's entirely possible that tomorrow we'll be canvassing places that we haven't canvassed yet because we're working out with the resources that we have.
Dan, go ahead.
You have a question and a follow-up, right?
Yes.
My first question, Attorney General, to follow up on my colleague, this is the question I asked on Saturday night, which is, so there's cameras in the hallway,
Right.
but they don't show the suspect, or Brown is not releasing them, or you're not releasing them to us. How does a multi-million-dollar school
Right.
have a bunch of cameras in the hallway?
Right.
So let me.
And that was my point at the very beginning of this stream. That this school probably takes in millions of dollars a year in tuition and donations. And you're going to tell me that probably the security system's fucking 30 years old, 20 years old. You don't have the top line security in an Ivy League school, private Ivy League school, the top best security there. What is the tuition for Brown a year? Let's look it up. $68,000 per year. $68,230 per year. I don't even think that is the. Well, hang on a second here. Let me just get this right. 23-24 it was. And then for the year of 25-26, academic at Brown University's undergraduate tuition fees are let's round it up, $75,000 with an estimated total cost of living, personal books, and health insurance reaching around $102,000 a year. I don't even know what the percentage of the country that people don't even make $100,000 a year in salary. What is the, let's look that up. Let's see. Approximately 18 to 20% of individual American workers earn more than $100,000 annually, with larger shares, about 34 to 43 of U.S. households have an income that exceed this amount. So only around, let's round it in the middle, 20% of Americans make $100,000 a year. And you're going to tell me that this school that gets $100,000 per student per year doesn't have top line security in it. Good stuff.
Try to explain that. So as President Paxson knows, there was a major addition put on that building within the last 5 years or so. That is a modern building.
Okay. So if you know that this fucking addition's going on the building, wouldn't you have to adjust the security cameras, sir? I hope someone's going to follow up with that question. I love the excuses now.
Attached to a much older one in the back. So it doesn't come as a surprise to me, at least, that there are cameras in the newer part of the building. And there is video footage, okay? So there's the back part of the building, old part, and front part, new part. The shooting occurs in the old part towards the back, out towards Hope Street. In that older part of the building, there are fewer, if any, cameras in that location. I imagine
that's bad. That's really bad security. Todd McGee would be rolling over right now 1,000 times.
Because it's an older building. So as students are fleeing the area of the shooting into the new part of the building, there are cameras in that brand new building that show that chaos. But the only video of the presumed, anticipated, suspected, however you want to define it, person of interest, you have it. We would release it if we thought it would be helpful in identifying this subject, because we are relying on the press and public to help get us there. There would be no reason.
You help us.
We're looking for the best image we can.
Dan got a follow-up.
Not the school, not the private Ivy League school that should have the best security cameras that take in. What do they take? Well, let's just look at this too. All right, let's see. How much they take in a year for tuition fees? Okay. Yeah, they're just giving me. How much do they take in a year? How many students are in there? How many students at Brown a year? How many students attend Brown in a year? Let's see. So almost we have so undergrad students, we have 7,900. Graduate students, they have 4,100. So that's 12,000 times, what do we say, 100 grand per year? So they're taking in 1.2 million, right? And you can't get your security. Got it. You probably could get fucking better cameras off Amazon. It's tough.
Attorney General, thank you for explaining that because it really clarifies it. Although I'm sure some people watching would think a multi-million-dollar school with a huge endowment could afford new cameras in an old building.
Here we go.
That's my statement.
Thank
Here's my
you.
question. If he's casing that area, Colonel, like you said, he had an intended target, which speaks to the motive. Did he have a target to kill one of the two people that were killed?
We're still investigating it, Dan, and it's something that I'm trying to get the answers as well, so.
Patrick,
For President Paxson, have you reviewed any communications to Brown before the shooting that revealed any kind of threat, any kind to anyone at Brown? And then since the shooting, I believe some web pages for students or faculty have been taken down. Is that a response to any external threats to anyone in the community?
We have been working very closely with law enforcement to provide them with all of the internal to Brown information that they need to do this investigation. It's their investigation. They're the professionals. So we're providing information. We're not in the job of reviewing it for them. I know nothing about web pages being taken down as part of this. It's the first I've heard of it.
in the back. Yep.
You want people to feel safe. Can you say this person of interest is no longer in Providence, no longer in Rhode Island, I mean, out of the state? Do you have any sense at all?
I can't speak to the investigation, and if there's a follow-up for either the general or the colonel, I'm sure they'd be happy to answer it. But I'll restate what I've said several times now, which remains true as another day passes. Since the initial call.
By the way, I just looked at my math wrong. It's 1.2 billion they take a year. I'm looking at it, I go, I just said that wrong. It's 1.2 billion they take in tuition fees a year. 1.2 billion. And they couldn't upgrade the security system in the old building. The new building, Peter Nerona, well, it's the new building had it, but the old building had older cameras. They couldn't upgrade. You get, like I said, you could probably get better fucking cameras on Amazon. Oy.
Call came in at 4:05 p.m. on Saturday. We have not received, and this is now updated with another 24 hours related to this event, and as far as I know, to the state. And I know that this is a question that many people are struggling with, and it's difficult conversations that I've had with many, many of my constituents, including a very anxious parent this morning.
Well, yeah, because you're telling them the community is safe, and this guy is not in custody. A person of interest is not being questioned anymore, and you let a lot of people with false hope. With the first person that you took in. And it looked like we were going to see a perp walk on Monday. And then Sunday night at 11:20 p.m., yeah, it's not the guy. We're going to let him go.
Information we have is that there is no credible, actionable, specific threat that has occurred.
How do you know that?
Since Saturday. And in order to...
So that means this fucking guy is long gone. And you're hiding something that you know that you're not telling the community. What are you holding back, Mayor Smiley? What is this team holding back? What information do you have to lead you to believe that there's no credible threat in the community? I mean, people have to question that.
enhance and ensure the safety of our community, we have stepped up law enforcement efforts throughout the city in a precautionary measure, in an abundance of caution, to try to give comfort and confidence to people who have to take the steps forward in their daily lives, who have to take their kids to school, who have to get to work. And that is the honest answer and the best answer we have at this time as the days continue to pass.
Mr. Mayor, with
Exactly.
that, Can you tell us where you believe he may be?
Yeah.
Is he in the state? Is he in the area?
Where is he?
So that question was asked as well. So Colonel, I'll let you answer that.
Yeah, we'll continue to investigate that. That's not, listen, we look into the same instances as the mayor stated, we haven't really received any credible info as far as any other calls for that nature, but I'll tell you that we have enhanced our presence in a part of the city, and we're using every resource we have, and every call that comes in, we're responding to it immediately.
Pat,
Are you working with any neighboring states?
It's Pat, so we're working our way across the room here. Pat.
Pat Ford, Coalition Radio. In a case involving a hit-and-run accident in the vicinity of Brown University that was litigated by the Office of Attorney General Nerone in 2023, Brown University Police Detective John Remka stated that the university maintains several thousand video surveillance cameras and license plate readers on Brown University campus and surrounding campus. Now, this is in addition, obviously, to the Providence Police Data Center. Attorney General Nerone, your department litigated that case, ostensibly giving your department a thorough understanding of the landscape. Why isn't there more video or metadata?
Right.
And were those cameras?
Love the press, man.
Yeah,
They
I can't speak to what was operating.
I love this shit. They are hammering them with tough questions. Bravo to the press that's been down there. Not afraid to ask the tough questions and put these guys up against the wall because they have no fucking clue what's going on down there. There is so much misinformation. There's so much misguidance going on. And bravo for pushing these guys up against the wall.
Or wasn't, but I will say this, that, and I've answered this question a few times today, and I'll try to do my best to answer it again. So somebody reported, might have been the Globe, that there are 800 cameras or so on the campus. It might have been the Globe. 1,200. But this building is on the very edge of the campus. If you know, I know that building well. I had two sons who spent a good chunk of their lives there. It's at the very edge of the campus. It's not the heartland of the campus.
Okay.
It's not the green.
Okay.
Several greens. It's not any of the three greens. Okay. I remember them. So it's right on the edge of the campus, and where the shooting took place is at the very edge of that building on the edge of the campus.
Okay, then why are there not cameras on the very edge of that building on the very edge of campus? Easy question, right? You take in $1.2 billion a year. Why aren't there cameras there?
And so, as those of you who know Providence know, you are very quickly into a residential neighborhood, which is why the video footage you're seeing of this defendant's, person of interest movements, are pre and post shooting are in that neighborhood. So the building on the edge of the Brown campus where the shooting took place is at the edge of that building. Right. And then you're very quickly into a residential neighborhood. There is no footage. I'll try to say it again. There is no footage that depicts this individual that would be useful in identifying him that we have not released to you. And I think you can tell from, frankly, the not very helpful quality of the initial footage that our standard is pretty low. If we thought it was at all helpful, we would have and will release it. John.
Follow-up question, real quick follow-up.
Colonel,
Hold on.
Does Brown University or the federal government employ Stingray or any other mass surveillance equipment in and around the Brown University campus? And again, remember that the Brown University detective said that these applied and said that these cameras extend in the neighborhood. So the other question is, does mass surveillance by Brown University end at campus borders, or is there anything in the Snyder Street community, downtown area, or anywhere else in the community?
You asked me this question last night, Pat, and I don't have any knowledge of those systems.
Respectfully, Mayor, I'm not asking you, I'm asking the Attorney General or the FBI.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no mass surveillance. Well, first of all, I'm not sure what mass surveillance means, Pat, but by any standard, I wouldn't describe it as mass surveillance by Brown University. There are cameras that they have in place in an effort to protect their students. And unfortunately here, given location, given age of building, We just
There we
don't have
go.
additional video footage. Trust me, I wish we did.
Right. Well, maybe you should do better with your security.
But we don't, and so we're doing everything we can to find additional footage from the neighborhoods.
Major.
Reinvent his path of travel and continue to canvass for either people who may have seen him, encountered him, or who have video evidence that could supplement what you already have.
John.
I have a question for Agent Dox of the FBI. Agent, so this happened Saturday night, and then last night you have an MIT professor. I know the question was asked, but this has to work. What we see on this video seemingly is someone very cautious, almost like a professional, kind of like the DC pipe bomber that is circling several times.
Right.
What information do you have? That MIT Jewish professor at Brookline was basically executed. Do you have any intelligence how that person was operating that?
You know, it's interesting. The Colonel Noble reached out to me very early. Their lead on that particular incident. He made sure that if there's any intelligence, any information in which is connected to what we have here, that they would share that. At this time, there seems to be no connection as it relates to that particular incident.
What, as a FBI agent, what do you see in that individual who's walking? For example, you know, he's walking with his arms behind his back, and I've seen people talk about that's not like a young kid on a campus. That scene where he's you know walking, that's something more either European or Middle Eastern. What do you see
About 4 hours ago.
so far in this video that we see of this suspect or person of interest?
You know, I think the Colonel articulated in a sense what they see. I say from an FBI perspective, we have individuals that can hypothesize on that, our behavioral analysis unit, and those type of individuals. I will say I would be, I think, getting a little ahead of things if I give you kind of an inference of what I see in that particular behavior. It can mean a lot of things, to be truly transparent with you, and to get into the mind of an individual that would commit such a heinous act. That's a place in which I don't want to go right now. I'm not sure what was going on in that particular individual's head at that
But you
time.
would agree,
John, that's it.
this individual seems very calm.
Brian in the back.
There's John DePietro, by the way.
The shooter is to blame, but you're hearing a lot of questions about the lack of cameras. You mentioned, you've heard some of the criticism. What is your response to parents as well who said they pay a lot of money for their kids to go to Brown?
Yeah.
Questioning the cameras, why the sirens didn't go off? Do you believe that Brown had the precautions and safety measures in place?
Now she's gonna say, I have no idea why the siren didn't go off, and it went off. It was a 17-minute delay. I'm gonna love this. Go ahead, Paxton. Let us know.
Before the shooting that were appropriate and necessary?
I do. And in fact, I'm glad you mentioned the sirens because I think there's been some misinformation about that. We have two security systems that we can activate in time of an emergency. One is a system that sends out text messages, phone calls, emails, and it was activated within minutes of the incident. Those messages went out to 20,000 individuals. So all alerts. We also have a system of sirens. There are 3 sirens placed across campus. Those get activated when there is a broad scale emergency and we want people to rush into buildings. In the case of an active shooter, activating that system could have caused people to rush into Barris and Hawley. So that's not a system that we would ever use in the case of an active shooter. So.
My God.
Just to follow up, it does say on the website when it was launched that it is for an active shooter.
Yeah.
It depends on the circumstances and where the active shooter would
Oh,
be, but you don't
stop.
want to ever get people rushing into buildings that might be.
You just smoked her. So she says, oh, well, we wouldn't want to activate that because we don't want people to run into the building, you know, be active shooter. And it says on their website that alarm system is for active shooters. Now she's going to back up here and make excuses. Oh my God, these people have no idea what's going on.
The site of an active shooter.
Let's listen to her again.
So
Let's
could have
listen to
caused
the-
people to rush into
listen to this
Barris and
question
Hawley.
again.
So
Come on,
that's not a system that we would ever use in the case of an active shooter.
Okay.
So
Just to follow up, it does say on the website when it was launched that it is for an active shooter.
It depends on the circumstances and where the active shooter would be, but you don't want to ever get people rushing into buildings that might be the site of an active shooting.
That's it.
That's my understanding.
Go ahead, sir.
Oh, that's her
Has there been
understanding.
evidence that suggests that the victim, Ella Cook, may have been targeted?
No, not at this point.
Yeah, agreed.
Question over here. We mentioned you have over 200 kids.
Miss, we're working our way across.
Ella Cook was one of the students that unfortunately lost her life. And the question was, do you have any evidence that Ella Cook was targeted? And I did see that kind of floating around on X today as well, too, but nothing has been confirmed.
I'm sorry. Just go ahead, Tom.
Attorney John Morano, what are the characteristics of the guy in the first video that makes you believe that he's also the same guy in the video that was released yesterday, and then a follow-up for President Paxton?
Yeah, look, I think that that is an analysis that has been done by the agents and the detectives. And a lot of factors are going into that. A lot of it is being able to, and as I just saw upstairs, a really terrific job of tracing movements. And when you put movements and times together, it's easy to easier, perhaps is the best word, to identify them as the same person. Now, look, there are no absolutes in any investigation, and I'm not about to make absolute statements in this one either. But that's the general reasoning for why we've concluded that.
Okay, just a follow-up to President Paxton. Right now, school break is pretty much underway for a lot of the university students. Have you met with your police department and board of trustees on how you're going to secure the university going into the second semester?
Yeah.
Making any changes to the way you guys operate?
Well, right now we have been, the campus is emptying out first, as you said, but we still have staff and faculty and graduate students and international students who will remain on campus during the winter break. So it's still open. And right now our focus is on getting as many sort of boots on the ground, people in cars. We have been really fortunate that the city and other municipalities have people who are helping us. People from the state. We also have security that we brought in from outside. I think over 60 people today were patrolling the campus. I was on campus walking around and I couldn't turn around without seeing a security person. So we will continue that for as long as we think it's necessary. And right now the campus feels very secure.
So no
Thank you.
changes.
Steve, I'm sorry, I missed your.
That's okay. If someone Providence residents were to see someone who matched the description of the person of interest, how would they be sure that they weren't dealing with a federal ICE agent?
The tip line that we've been providing throughout the last several days, 401-272-3121, that call comes in here and is answered in this building with Providence police professionals and our partners at the FBI. That is who's manning the phones. That is who's processing the tips. And we are encouraging anybody who has relevant information to please use that tip line. And they should know that that's who's on the other end of the phone. And again, if you have relevant information or information that you think might help us with this investigation, we encourage you to call it.
My plan is this: if there's nothing significant by Friday, I have Friday off, and I plan on driving down to the area and walking that area. So I may do a live stream from there for you guys. If not, I'll do some video and upload. I want to go see the building. I want to see where these said security cameras were on the outside of the building. If I can get in and down that area, I'm not sure. You know, I heard it's pretty locked down in that area right now. But if I can get out there on Friday, if there's no significant development here in the next couple of days, I want to walk the area. Okay, let's listen here. 10 more minutes on this.
Person and an ICE agent who would be matched up walking through town and not be approached by the same way this person was.
Again, we've worked really hard to build the trust of our community here in Providence, and I'm telling you that phone number, 401-272-3121, rings in this building and is answered by Providence Police and or FBI. Those are the agencies that are processing, running down, and investigating any relevant information. And we urge folks, if you have relevant information, to please use that phone number. Luke?
The Colonel, do you have any indication as to whether all the interviews of the students in the classroom are completed? Is there any through line that you glean from those interviews?
No, we're still conducting those interviews as we speak.
Go ahead, please.
You mentioned that you have no idea if the shooter is still in the area. Have you been working with any law enforcement agencies in other states that are nearby?
Yeah.
Yes, we're working with every municipality here in the state of Rhode Island, and obviously every Massachusetts, obviously we have conversations with them as well, but majority of the law enforcement that we're working with right now is our own, nearby municipalities, the Rhode Island State Police, and every agency that you can think of, federal agency in this building.
I really wish they would just be clear on this issue. They're putting this they're putting this narrative out there that go about your business, go to school, go to church. Well, then what are you telling us? That there's not a credible threat in and around the area? So that leads us to believe as the public that this guy is not in and out and around in this area. But yet on the other hand, you play this thing like, well, we're working with our local law enforcement. Yeah, we have talked to other states, but we're talking, we're just working right now with our local law enforcement officials and the FBI in this area. So what is it? Is there a credible threat here? Because I don't want to see another shooting. I know everybody watching the show doesn't want to see another shooting. I know the general public doesn't want to see another shooting. So how are you confident that there's no credible threat in this area? That only leads me to believe that this guy is not in the area anymore. So either you know that and you're holding it back, or you have no fucking idea where this guy went off camera and you have no idea where you could last track him to. This is so botched.
Agencies in Connecticut?
We're in conversations with them, but no, they're not here, no.
Amanda.
Exactly legal.
What's really critical first is that we identify who the person is. Once we identify who this person is,
you need to identify where he went.
We'll be able to locate him. It's very hard to hide in this country. But until you have a name, which is why we're working so hard to identify him, it's not particularly productive to reach out to law enforcement across the country as who you're looking for, because we don't yet know who we're looking for. So that's why we have to identify the person. Once we've identified him, we'll know more information about where he's from and who his friends are and where he might go. Those are the things that we can do once we have an identification of this person. And that's why the team now is laser focused on identifying who this person is in this video. Amanda.
I just have questions for the chief.
Yes.
The chief.
Hi, Amanda.
Just following up on another question that was just asked, I'm glad to hear that some of the students are beginning to recover. How many of the students who are inside that building and also outside have detectives been able to interview, and have they elaborated on anything that this man said? Allegedly, he yelled something in the classroom before opening fire. Did he appear to be wearing a bulletproof vest, and that's why he appeared bulky?
It's a good amount of interviews that have been conducted. We have re-interviewed several people. And so I just want to tell you that's part of the investigation right now. We'll continue to investigate, and we'll continue to speak with them. And like the general stated, listen, we're just trying to build the case here and make sure that we can move forward and continue to progress as we're doing. But the interviews are still being conducted.
But Chief, they haven't elaborated exactly in what this man, if he did say anything, what he was yelling.
Yeah, no, I don't have that info now.
Straight back, sir.
What do we know about the path of the shooter as they left Garrison Hall?
Yeah, they don't know. Right.
So his movements were all in the residential block that I mentioned, between Waterman Avenue, Power Street, I Street, Hope Street. There's all that block. The whole residential block that I just mentioned is where his movements were. And then obviously that's where we lose some sight of him somewhere around Governor Street.
Is this after the shooting, Chief?
In the back there.
Correct.
To that point, at any point, will there be kind of like a map put out as to which cameras you're seeing him on to kind of give an idea to the public of maybe my camera's there, maybe my Tesla's there, like you said.
Correct, great point, and something that we talked about just before I came down here, to be able to release that map as well.
Alex.
For the colonel, do investigators know how
Excuse me.
many shots have been fired yet? And can you tell us that?
So in our forensics unit, and obviously with the FBI as well, they're all there, and there was several rounds that were fired inside the building.
And just another follow, the image today of the person of interest, they have a satchel. Is it known if there were additional weapons in there or magazines of some kind?
No, that's all we know, that it was just that one weapon that I mentioned the other day.
Go ahead.
Yeah, this might be a question either for President Hudson or the Colonel here. I wanted to follow up on the scrubbed internet pages that were mentioned. There's a lot of misinformation out there. There's been a lot of speculation about what those scrub pages might mean. Can you help fact check, give us some information today about what this scrubbed individual, about one very particular individual, does that have any connection to do with the shooting?
As I said before, I have no knowledge of any scrub.
You don't know
pages. You can follow up with our communications office if you want to get more information, maybe tomorrow, but this is the first I've heard of it.
So I did, and then they directed me to
Huh.
Colonel Perez. Do you know anything about?
I do not know.
Go ahead, right behind, yes.
Hi, una pregunta para el coronel.
That was about the web page that was scrubbed of a potential. Hang on one second. Let me get the tweet so I have this clear. All right, let me just keep playing this. I'm gonna look for it.
En la descripción, en el lenguaje corporal de esta persona que los hace pensar que es una persona de interés. He hablado con personas de la comunidad que tienen cierta desconfianza porque ya
I was a Brown University student.
era de interés. ¿Qué hace a esta persona la que podría ser?
Yes, so the question is, what makes this person one of the suspects that we have that is a priority? And since we have released somebody already in the past, what makes this person the subject? So la respuesta verdaderamente es que tenemos muchas indicaciones que este individuo es el que cometió esta tragedia. Y entonces estos videos que mostramos es por esa razón. La investigación nos está llevando en ese progreso a determinar que esta es la persona, por demasiadas cosas que vamos a seguir investigando. So the answer is pretty much that there's a lot of leads that we have here that identifies this individual as the person who committed this tragedy. And we have enough to be able to move forward in progress, and we're very confident that that is the individual that committed the tragedy.
You have one follow-up here? Or you go
Yeah,
ahead,
that's
please.
the name. Yep.
I'm sorry.
¿Por qué no llamamos sospechoso entonces? ¿Y qué le dice a la comunidad que está angustiada?
So why don't we call him a suspect, and what do we tell the community is nervous? So la respuesta es, verdaderamente, estamos llamando a una persona de interés, ¿verdad? Porque necesitamos crear un caso para poder llevarlo a la justicia y presentarlo al fiscal. Y es le decimos a la comunidad que realmente estamos en un trabajo y esta es una prioridad en este momento y una responsabilidad de que pongamos un caso completo para poder llevarlo a la justicia.
Can I just jump in here, Mayor, with your permission?
Well,
I want to come back to your question about that name. And I know the name that you're asking about because a member of the media asked me about it. I am familiar with it. I wasn't familiar with it when the media member asked me about it. I think it was either CBS or NBC. I asked my team about it. And I think this is an area where caution is really necessary. There are lots of reasons why a page might be taken down, particularly if there's chatter out there about, to your question, Amanda, about words that were spoken. It's easy to jump from someone saying words that were spoken to what those words are, to a particular name that reflects a motive targeting a particular person. That's a really dangerous road to go down. Really dangerous. If that name meant anything to this investigation, we would be out looking for that person. We would let you know we were looking for that
Getting
person.
flippy again.
You know, again, I think it's just a really dangerous road to go down. I know that in today's age, there are lots of things that people read into things. It's just a dangerous thing to do. And I would leave it to
Reach
us
out.
to identify persons of interest and let us run them down. What the public can do for us today is help us figure out who this guy is. And we hope to have more
Okay.
information out that will help you do that, help us do that.
You have a
So
follow-up here.
basically,
Yeah.
we have no idea what's going on. We don't know how to do our jobs. We want the public to solve this crime. Okay. Got you. I hear you loud and clear. All right, Mr. Nerona. Thank you.
Very, very quickly.
Say it loud for the people in the back.
Colleagues' question being answered most of it, but just in regards to the rumors that are circulating as well about the motive here, do you have any information regarding the rumors
Hey,
that a particular professor was being
The eyes.
Yeah, there is no information that the investigative team has about motive. Zero. There's nothing about, even if taking at face value what one or two witnesses may have said about what something was said.
Yeah.
Okay, and there are many witnesses that say nothing was said. There's nothing about what we know was perhaps.
So let's dismiss the two witnesses. I love this press conference. Let's dismiss the two witnesses that heard this person say something, but we're gonna go with the masses. All these other people that said that they didn't hear anything. So what is it? You either heard it or you didn't hear it. There was something said or it wasn't something said. Oh, I love this press conference.
Said that indicates any kind of motive that is related at all to ethnicity or political outlook or culture. There's nothing at all that we know right now about that. And I think that is a dangerous road to go down, particularly in today's environment.
Patrick has a follow-up.
Does the fact that the satchel is in
Yeah,
some
exactly.
places, not others, and his disappearance around Governor either indicate that there's a vehicle involved or one of the houses involved?
We don't
Gets
know.
off the satchel or gets off the satchel. What does that tell us? The fact that he disappears.
I have no idea.
So the actions of a criminal, pretty much. I'll tell you that's, you're right. And that's something that we're looking at. As you can see in the video, the satchel's on, sometimes it's not on. He has a heavy coat on. He has something in front of his abdomen. He could have hit the satchel and something in the instance that we have. We'll continue to investigate. It's complex. But we'll continue to investigate as we go.
Chris has got a follow-up. Chris has got a follow-up. Chris has got a follow-up.
Are you assuming, like Louis Domain, after 4 days, the suspect had taken his own life, so if you just set the microphone, are you assuming right now that you're showing these videos that this is a suspect after 72 hours that's still alive? Or do you have dogs and, thermal imaging from helicopters that are looking for a person that's taken their own life?
Yeah, we're using a lot of resources. As soon as we get a lead, we continue to follow through with it. An investigation, I mentioned the other day, they start here and they lead in a different direction. So we're there. Yes, you're right. We use dogs. Yes, if we have a lead on something and we think that we need to go back and search it again, we need to re-interview, we're doing all that.
Chris, you've got the last question. Go.
Of course.
This is for the Colonel and me. The mayor had noted the Boston Globe podcast that there were setbacks earlier in this investigation. Would you also say that initial detention with that first person of interest, would you also categorize that as a setback?
Well, the mayor and I agree on nearly everything. But we look at,
Oh my God, that is the moment there, folks. The Attorney General, Peter Nerona, just said that they almost agree on everything. To the mayor, to the fucking mayor. They almost agree. That tells you right there. They have no fucking clue what's going on. Let's back that up. This is from the Attorney General.
Had noted the Boston Globe podcast that there were setbacks earlier in this investigation. Would you also say
Here we go.
that initial
Ready?
detention with that first person of interest, would you also categorize that as a setback?
well, the mayor and I agree on nearly everything. But we look at this case maybe from different backgrounds and experiences, perhaps. So the mayor has had many great experiences that I've never had, leading the city, for example. Well, I would not characterize it as a setback. The way I would characterize it is it was a lead that had to be run to ground. And the person, as that lead was run to ground, there was an initial period where that lead looked very promising. But there was still physical evidence that had to be analyzed. And once it was analyzed, it was clear that that person was not a person involved here. But that's not unusual investigations like this. And that's happening as we speak. We are developing people of interest. And, you know, some we quickly rule out, others we quickly rule in. And when I say persons of interest, people that could be this guy based on other evidence. So I would not view it as a setback. I mean, I think, frankly, the police work there and the analytical work that had to be taken out of state and brought back very quickly was very well done. Certainly, was it a disappointment for those of us who hoped we could wrap this case quickly for the benefit of the Brown community and the people of Providence, Rhode Island? Of course. But I don't know that I would use the setback, but I think, you know, maybe those words don't, but maybe what I'm saying is not all that different from what the mayor said. But I look at it as good police work while other work was going on.
We will be back tomorrow with further updates unless there is a meaningful update. Again, if you are not yet on the press list, please see Camille or Julie to my left, and they can add you to the list. Thank you all very much.
Mayor, personally, on the posting from the FBI, it says if there's a second individual. Is there a second individual or no?
Okay. Good stuff. Let's go to some of those videos that everybody was talking about. Let's see this one here. So this is interesting. Breaking home security camera video has been released by the FBI showing the Brown University shooter and their shooter walking directly past multiple police, PD, and fire vehicles. Where is the dash cam video? Something reeks where none of the government cameras are working in Providence that night. And you can see here is the suspect or this person of interest, police cruiser right here. Now I'm going to already tell you, if I was to FOIA request this, I would have to find out one, what cruiser it was, what time of the day this was at. We don't have any indication on the video, but if someone could find that out, if I was to FOIA request, I'm already going to guarantee you they're not going to give me that video and say it's active part of our investigation. But let's see the video. If there's dash cam video out of that cruiser, let's see it. Another point that I wanted to show you guys too, and this was Fox News reporting this, the blind spots. Blind spot, part of the Brown University academic building where the gunman opened fire and killed 2 students, didn't have cameras because of the structure's age, officials said, despite the official residents of the school president being older and appearing to be equipped with video monitoring. So, was cameras working? Did they work? Oh, I've got to go down there and see this for myself. So, my plan is I have Sunday off. If there's no, and I have Friday. So if there's during the day, I have some time during the day. If there's no significant updates by Friday, I want to try to get down in and around that area and see for myself. I want to walk this area. I want to go over to the building, the Barrison Holly building, and see for myself if I can get in and around that area. Not sure, because I heard it's pretty locked down, but we can make the attempt. We can try. But tomorrow night, they should have a presser. Hopefully, we have some new developing information over tonight. And hopefully they have a name or a general direction of where this guy is. When I watch this, I see no one has control of the situation. Is it safe? Is it unsafe? And that's why I've been very critical about this, because the narrative in a lot of these in these press conferences has been, it's safe. Well, if it's safe, where is this guy? And if you lost sight of him in a specific part of the neighborhood and you're not sure where he went, then why are you giving this impression that the neighborhood is safe, that the area is safe, that Providence is safe, Rhode Island is safe? It doesn't make sense to me. And I'm sure it doesn't make a lot of sense to all of you, but I didn't feel any clarity in that press conference. I don't feel confidence that they have any clue of what's going on right now. And the way that I've been seeing all the active investigation in the area is a little scary too. So I don't know. Patricia says, good work, Brian. And she's saying, yeah, agree. It isn't safe. Yeah, they want to give that illusion that's safe. The fucking Mayor Smiley was saying the day after, go to church on Sunday. Oh, go out in the community. Why would you even say that? Did you not see what happened in the Boston Marathon bombing? I mean, after a couple of days, they locked down the whole area and went by house, try to find this person or persons of interest. And look what happened in that. So I don't feel it's safe. I would tell people, like, look, you can go out in the community, but we urge caution. If you need to stay in right now, do that. But that's up to you. You know, we're urging caution. We don't know where this guy went. We don't know where this person of interest is right now. Urge caution. He could be armed and dangerous. Why is that not being put out in the community? And then, God forbid, someone walks out here on the street tonight and gets shot up by this guy. You know, go out in the community. We have no idea where he is. He could surface at any moment and start shooting people again. So anyway, this is how I feel. Look at this. Watertown is on lockdown right now. Is that because of the MIT shooting? Yeah, it does feel like that. Nothing to see here. Just move along. So that's where we're at. Mike says, everything is fine. Fine. Continue your day. We have it all under control. Did you feel that from that press conference, Mike? I certainly didn't. Oh, boy. Anyway. All right. Well, I'm going to head out of here. I appreciate spending this hour and a half with you guys, hour and 20 minutes with you guys. Of course, tomorrow there should be, if there's any significant press conference or any breaking news, if I can jump in here and do it for you, I will. And if there's just the standard regular press conference tomorrow at 5 p.m., I'll be sure stream that and we'll go over it tomorrow as well too. So thank you so much for jumping in here. If this is your first time over here, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Comment on this video afterwards. I'm getting more critical of the situation. I feel like they're not being fully transparent with the public in and around Providence, in and around Brown. I just don't feel that at this point, and I'm not feeling confident in this investigation. There's a lot of loose ends. There's a lot of loose ends right now, and it is not clear. It is not clear. So hopefully you start getting some clarity soon. So Legal, thanks for jumping in here. Vermont, what was it? Vermont first press release, or what was the name? Vermont press release. Thank you for being here and interacting with the chat tonight too. Mustang, thank you for being a channel member. I appreciate all of you. I'm going to head out and we'll see you guys. Hopefully tomorrow we have some major developments. I really would like to see some better action in this investigation. And I'm sure people in that community feel the same way too. All right, everybody, be safe if you're in and around Providence or the Brown University area. And we'll talk soon. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.